Carly Schofield, the motherhood therapist, and welcome back to the Reclamation Room, where we unpack the invisible scripts and expectations mothers are handed and gently burn them to the ground, right? In today's episode, we're going to cover the whole thing about being easygoing. So you're not easygoing, right? You're exhausted from pretending. Does this sound familiar? Let's talk about people pleasing, right? Especially, the kind that hides beneath a smile and the I'm okay and sure that's fine, even when your stomach's doing flips, right? And you feel anxious and nervous and on edge. Have you ever been praised for being so chill, so easygoing? Wow, you're such a relaxed mum. You're just happy to go with the flow. It seems like everything is okay. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, you're standing in the kitchen gripping the bench because your mother-in-law just fed your baby something you explicitly said no to, right? And instead of saying something, you fake a smile and you pretend like everything is okay because you keep telling yourself it's not worth the drama, right? Because you don't want to be that person who is difficult, because you don't want to take up space, because you don't want to seem ungrateful, right? But later that night, what happens? Those small micro moments, they keep you awake. They replay after replay those conversations where you wish you should have said something different, right? Crafting the perfect comeback you'll never actually say, while feeling resentment building in your chest like a pressure cooker. Okay, let's go on a little bit of a side quest and let's talk about theatre. When we were little, many of us learned to survive by putting on a costume, right? We were often seen as the good girl, the easy child, the helper, the peacemaker of the situation. And in motherhood, it becomes the chill mum, the low maintenance partner, the one who handles everything with grace, never any confrontation, a happy-go-lucky, right? But here's the thing about costumes or even masks, right? They might look effortless, but they are heavy. They're heavy to carry. And, they require constant effort to keep in place. They're often blocking you from breathing deeply even. Just imagine that heavy weight. They limit your range of movement as well. You can't actually live in authenticity. And the longer you wear them, the more you start to they fuse with your identity. Who is actually you, right? You forgot where the performance ends and where you actually begin, which is scary. And sometimes you don't even realize that, right? You start saying, I'm fine, it's fine, so often that even you start to believe it, right? Until the mask slips and suddenly someone sees your real frustration or sadness or even rage. And most likely that's going to be your children, remember? And other people might say, "Oh, wow, that's not like you at all. What happened?" Because they only knew the costume. They only knew the mask. They did not know you, right? And let's take a client I had, for example. This is where this is coming from. She is the queen of remembering everyone's birthday, making them feel special. She sends the thank you cards after every party. She manages the group chats, checks in on everybody's feelings a lot of the time, and helps out at every school fundraiser, right? But when she came into me, she was crying in the car most of the days. And this was not because she didn't love her family, not at all, but because she felt like she didn't exist, which is really sad, and everything she did was invisible or expected, and she wasn't praised for it. She felt heavy a lot of the time. It was just part of her performance. And when she finally tried to say, hey, I don't actually have the capacity to host Christmas this year, or I can't actually, buy the present for the child, whatever it might be, people went silent on her. People were uncomfortable because she'd gone off script, right? And they thought, who is this? But guess what? That moment, as hard as it was her first breath of real fresh air in years. All right, so here's what I want to offer you today. Just one small practice, as always. I want you to take off one mask this week. Just one, right? Say what you actually need instead of what you think you're allowed to ask for. It sounds massive, right? Maybe it's, I'm not okay with that, or I actually need help. I'm not coping. Yeah. Or what about I don't feel like talking right now? And here's the hard part, um, let people be uncomfortable. People aren't going to like this, yeah, because they're used to seeing you in one particular way. But let them adjust, let the silence happen, because freedom often feels awkward at first. Change feels hard at first, right? Like walking barefoot after years of ballet shoes, right? But the moment you stop performing is the moment you start reclaiming your identity and who you want to be. So next time someone tells you you're just easygoing, ask yourself this question, right? Am I? Am I really easygoing, or what is going on here? Or am I just exhausted from carrying everyone else's comfort on my back, right? You don't need to earn your worth by being agreeable. Your truth is enough. Your authenticity is enough. You don't have to burn down the whole theatre, right? But you can start taking off your costume or your mask one thread at a time, yeah? And I'll see you next week for the next episode of The Reclamation Room. And I hope that this was helpful.